And I can't remember this old man's name, but his grandson was named Johnny, and his son was named John. He was a rock mason, brick mason and a rock mason too. He's the one that built the house with about $70,000-$80,000. Put a copper tin roof on it, copper roof on it. Very expensive. Built a nice home. And this old man was caught up with and was sent to the penitentiary for 5 years. And Jim Eckers was sent for 5 years. Well, I don't remember where I was now.
He built a house with a...
Yeah, the money that they swindled that old lady to buy those maps with. And they had this, I still haven't thought of his name, and it's important that I do. He was married to Aunt Emma's brother, which is Bill, and his sister, Maggie. I can't remember the last name now for some reason.
Starts with an M, if I remember right.
Huh?
An M?
Aunt Emma
Oh,
had a sister. Aunt Emma's husband, Bill Whitley, had a sister named Maggie.
Maggie, yeah.
And she was married to this big barrel-chested guy that was crooked, but he'd drill water wells and fix windmills. And yeah, that's not the end of the story, but it's just about what I got in my mind. I've forgotten what happened.
And he used what did he use his money for?
Huh?
He built the house, you said, in Potomac?
Yeah, the money that he swindled that old lady out of, he gave it to his. Anyway, he gave it to. And what was he named? Frank something, and he built that house. He was a rock mason. He built a house there, and then he of course built a little house for him to live in. And had a sister, Bill Whitley's sister, which was named Maggie, and she was married to this old guy. And he lived in this house, and when they sent him to the penitentiary, she didn't have any money. And so he had told somebody to tell her that in the stairs going up to the second story, there was where the stair was here and another one down here, and this board across out here. He'd take that board out and find a shoebox full of money in there. And she was afraid to spend it. She was scared to death because she knew a whole lot of the crooked stuff that went on. But anyway, they took money out of there, and I think Aunt Emma made her take it, or she took it out and went and bought her groceries for her. And she even gets sick eating the groceries because she felt like that was wrong. The money was stolen and all that kind of stuff, which was, she was an old-timer type of person that lived by a straight line, you know. She was a very good person, good-hearted and everything. But anyway, that was I've forgotten what my story was. I've forgotten all about that story now. But anyway, they had found this bucket of silver dollars that I saw from the top of the garage. The garage was a big stone building.
Where's that at?
Huh?
Where's the house at?
It's out of San Antonio. What's the name of that town? Poteet. He's out there in that sandy country where they grew a lot of Irish potatoes. And he brought a suitcase that was, he brought a suitcase that was just stacked with bundles of bills, money. I've forgotten how much. Maybe probably $100,000 or something like that. And he was drunk. And he came in, he got Maggie. She was scared to death of him, afraid he'd kill her. And he got Maggie up and blindfolded her and took her out to the back door, kitchen or something, and circled around twice, trying to make her get disoriented. And then he took her down a little fence and gave her a shovel, took the blindfolds off, and made her dig a hole. She dug a hole until it was deep over her head, deep, tall, probably 6 foot deep. And then he put that suitcase down in there with paper money in it. And of course made her cover it up, throw the dirt back in the hole and cover it up. And at that time, this fence was a kind of a partition fence in the property itself. It wasn't, nobody else had anything to do with it. And so the fence was taken out. And they just lost track of the money where it was buried. He took Maggie out there one time and beat the heck out of her trying to make her dig it. And she dug holes all over out there, and they never did find that suitcase full of paper money. But let's see, what else is interesting here?
The coins?
Huh?
How'd they get coins, the silver dollars?
Well, there were several times he'd come in with honey buckets, gallon buckets like that full of silver dollars, and dig a hole maybe 2 feet deep and bury it. Maybe sometimes real shallow. I know where the little house was that John built out of stone or to live in while he was building the big house. There's a yard fence around it. And up like that and over. And everywhere there's a big square pillar there, he buried a bucket of silver dollars. And I've forgotten how somebody bumped into it and found it. Also in the garage, it was rock walls all the way around, and then on one corner was this tower. It was made steel pipe or something, welded and everything, and then they laid rock. And rock looked all the way to the top to the platform, and then there was a big rock cistern up on top of that. And that's when they pumped the water out of the ground. They pumped it up in that cistern, and it had pressure in the house just like in town, which was only rich people had it. Not very many of them did either. And that garage out there, like I say, it had, let's see, I guess you call it an I-beam. Or 2 channel irons, I think it was. The channel iron was about 18 inches or 20 inches. You know what a channel iron is? It's a long iron it has the bottom, and it's maybe this wide, and then it comes up in the center and comes up here, and then it has another piece coming out here and making a channel. And it's like has 2 sides and a bottom. and you put both of them together back to back, and you got an I-beam, which means that you got like an eye. Solid iron here, solid iron out here, solid iron out here, and you put two of them together, and it makes an eye. That's called an I-beam. When they built that garage, it had this I-beam in it, and they had a lot of rock in the wall, and made rock come up to that, and then they plastered over that channel. And he put a suitcase full of dollar money in there. More than that, he had one suitcase, and he had some packages, cardboard box in there, and then plastered over it, but sealed it up in it. And John Boy found it, some of it. And they had an old Mexican working for him. And John Boy took that old Mexican, went to Mexico, and had a big party down there with all that money. He spent a lot of it, so that's how come the problem. They had after he told somebody to Maggie needed some money where to get it, and went out there to get it, and it was gone. And so Johnny Boy, he knew where it was, so he went out there and got it, and they had it all. They spent money. He opened himself up a bank account too with that money. Anyway, it's quite a story. And they
how did Aunt Emma get involved?
Well, Aunt Emma was Bill's husband, wife, and Bill's sister, Maggie, was married to this old guy, this bar-accessive guy. I can't think of his name. I ought to remember it real easy. But that's the way that connection was. See, there was Bill Whitley and Aunt Emma, husband and wife. And Bill's sister, Maggie, was married to this big old crook, big, quite good fellow. Shoot, I know his name, but I can't think of it offhand. And so we took some food over there for Maggie out of my store over here. And I had the store. We packed a big cardboard box full of canned goods, stuff that you just had to open and warm up or something. And I think it was about $35 worth of food I took over to her and gave it to her. And while I was over there, I climbed up on that garage on top, and it had a solid cement roof. Got that tape. And I was walking around up there, and I went to a corner where the water went out off that roof into I forgot what you call it anyway, pipe that carried it down to the ground and turned, and there was a piece of cement out there for it to hit on. And while I was up there looking around from up there, I saw that cement went out there so far, and then there was another slab of fresh cement poured out there. I put two and two together. I said, no, that cement's just been poured there since he was in prison. So I just thought I'd try it, and I went down there, and I didn't dig this far. I just, from the end of that cement here, right here, and I dug in there. And I ran into that bucket of silver dollars. They're black. Bucket was rusted, came all to pieces. Anyway, we were cleaning that money up and using some of it for to buy her groceries with.
Did you tell Aunt Emma?
And Emma, yeah, she's the one that helped dig it up. As soon as I told her about it, she was trying to help Maggie. You know, because poor Maggie she didn't have sense enough to pour water out of the boot. Poor country girl.
Well, how did Aunt Emma react when you told her?
Well, she was happy for Maggie because that meant that she had money to buy food with and to pay the taxes, and they didn't want to scare her to death. Maggie was scared to death. She was afraid to pay anything with that cash. So what we did, we cleaned up for $50, take all that black stuff off, kind of shine it up with silver polish, you know, that you shine your spoons and knives. And we cleaned up about $50 worth. And different people would take that money and go buy a little dab of something with a dollar, a dime or something, dime's worth of stuff, and they'd take the change and then put that in the sack, in the bag, and throw away whatever we bought, and just all we wanted to do was get silver dollars turned into, you know, authentic money. We did a whole lot of that for Aunt Emma. For whatever her name was. I told you what her name was.
For Maggie?
Maggie. Poor Maggie. Anyway, I don't know where to go from here with the story, but she was. We had to change that money from silver to paper money any way we could. So we did. We got her $40 or $50. I forgot just how much, but anyway, we got her some money that she could put in an old purse, go to the store and buy something. She'd scared to death to spend that money. I felt sorry for her. But anyway, he got out of prison. And she still had a lot of that money, you know. But she gave it to him. He said, "This ain't it. This ain't all of it. I got $100,000 more than this." So they told him, said, "Well, we don't have any of that. We just got this." He said, "Well, John Boy's got it." If I make him, if he won't turn it over to him, I won't get it. He was never scared he would. So he told John Boy what the trouble was. He had a son. The reason I'm saying this is because the one that killed him was his grandson. But anyway, he got them all in the house there one day and lined them up against the staircase going up like that. He lined them up like that and was standing there with a gun fixing to kill him. Answered each one of them. He asked a question. Some of them didn't know the answer. So he told them, "Step over there." He was going to kill him, but he wasn't going to kill him in the house because he had to clean it up. You know. But he was mean, son of a gun. He had that pistol. Automatic, high-class gun. So this Junior had a .22, a little .22 rifle, and he got on the stairs. But anyway, he was looking across at the other stairway where he had him standing up there. Told him he was going to kill him if they didn't tell him where the money was. And his grandson, Johnny Jr., he shot him, killed him at 22. Standing right by that. Guess with that gun in his hand. That's the way that story goes.
Now, what part of that story was placed in the magazine? What
I just got through telling you. somebody took the whole story and wrote it up, just like it happened and everything, and sold it to True Story magazine.
Huh.
And it's still available. I guess if you knew what year it was, you could go to the people that print the True Story magazine. They have a
Microfilm or something?
film of it in the history, and they can pull it out. So, I was really feeling sorry for Maggie, and that boy. I can't remember how I felt about him, but he turned out to be no good anyway. They had a hog, and Johnny, had made a set of harness, put on that hog, and rode him. He's a big hog, about this big. He'd only been riding. Of course, when he was 15 years old, he didn't weigh very much. But he rode him in the Battle of Flowers Parade in San Antonio. And rode that hog down there. He didn't make it the whole thing, they said, but he got in it. He was a big sport at it. I saw the harness, but I saw pictures of the hog, but I didn't see it. It was probably before I got to the story of the whole thing. He had already probably died or something. But that was quite a story for me.
You had to be a part of it.
What made me feel good though was that I got down there and dug and found that bucket of several dollars. But anyway, she went after him. Oh, hog, man. She got that thing out. We put it in an old tub. Well, it wasn't an old tub. It was one of them 2 tubs. And number 3 is about this way, and number 2. Well, we emptied those dollars down there with dirt and everything. A rusty bucket and all pieces. And we hosed it down real good, poured the water off. And then you took those dollars one at a time. And first, we're rubbing them in sand, little white sand over there, goatee. That wasn't fast enough, so I said, let's get, there is such a thing as silver polish. And I don't know how it works, but we ought to get some and try it, so we did. Man, it worked like a charm. But those dollars look brand new, you know. So we put them in a bag, a leather bag. And when it came time to buy food for Maggie, we'd get $6 or $7 and we'd buy a lot of groceries. We bought her potatoes and beans and rice. There was something else. Potatoes and beans and rice, flour. Yeah, she was a good cook. She could make we call it camp bread. It's about that thick, but like a tortilla, you know, about this big around. You ever see any of that?
I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you what. Old Pancho Nada used to be over at the ranch. He made them. That's the first I ever ate. Camp bread, they call it. And I could take a piece of that bread. It was brown, you know, pretty well browned on both sides. A little chunk like that, about that thick. And a cup of sweetened sugar coffee. And I'd make a meal out of it. I could eat and feel like I had a whole meal. But it was good to eat with beef or pork. I can't remember I think we cooked cabbage one time. But I like spinach so well, I might have had some spinach. I don't know. Fresh stuff come out of the field. But poor Maggie, she died pauper. She didn't have nothing when she died. That boy got killed, or somebody killed him. They said it was an accident, but it wasn't. It was somebody killed. Went out bird hunting or something, and he was crawling through the fence. Somebody shot him and made it look like it was the gun that he was having, you know, to crawl through the fence with a gun. But we all know that it wasn't an accident. Somebody did it.
And that was the boy who...
Johnny Boy that had...
Johnny Jr.?
Knew where a lot of that money was.
Oh, Johnny Boy.
Yeah. This was probably a year after the whole big episode had taken place.
Oh, after that one man got killed?
Yeah, we still have what did we have? We had something that still belonged to Maggie. But Aunt Emma was, and I was making her handle it because there was some of those people in that family I wouldn't trust with a penny from here outside. And I was in the store, and I had a sign, looked like a real penny, but it was about this big around. And it says on top, "In God we trust." And down here it said, "All others pay cash." I put it up in the store out there.
Whatever happened to the store?
Burned down.
Oh, how did...
Bill Whitley burned it down.
Oh, Bill Whitley did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Huh?
Why did he do that?
He didn't want to pay for it. He owed $25.
Oh, he owned part of it?
Yeah, he owed.
Oh, he owed.
He owed. What? I keep saying $25,000.
How did he owe that much?
But it wasn't that much. I know it wasn't, but it keeps coming to me, $25,000. Maybe that was the total. See, my uncle, Judge, my mother's brother, came out of World War I, rather, and he was from New Braunfels, and he had been working for a big mortuary up there. He drove the hearse when he went to the graveyard with somebody to bury him. He also drove an ambulance to go pick up people in car wrecks or some kind of accident. And he spoke German real fluently. So when the World War I was over, the Army of Occupation put him at the head of a whole bunch of construction people that were going into these towns that were war-torn, all torn up. And he was translation from English to German. And he was the Army of Occupation. And he was way up there. He was equal to a general, I guess. And he would move from one part of Germany to the other where towns had been destroyed by all kinds of stuff. Fire, ammunition, dumps, stuff exploding, you know. And anyway, that was the way he got his turn in the war. And when he got discharged, oh boy, I'll go back home to my job, see. So he went to New Braunfels and he wanted to be with his old friends, and boy, they looked at him and they turned their head and walked off. And he went to his boss to see if he could get his job back. And he told him, but to give you a job, you volunteered to go kill my people. So he didn't know what to do. So Dad had the store, and he had the cotton gin going, and he had a lot of farming and stuff. And he had cattle and mules and horses. So he needed him. So he had him come down and work in the store. He paid him his salary, and he lived in one of the back rooms of the store. And later on then, while my dad told me to sell it, the store business with all the merchandise in it, and maybe work out a deal for him to buy the building later on. So he came back and worked in the store. And there were some people out there, whips, W-I-P-F-F. Yeah, the strand of German in one part of the family went back to Black Dutch. And he looked like a Mexican. He looked just like a Mexican. And so he came in the store, and here Uncle Judge was working for my daddy. He had a little showcase there, and he had some bandana handkerchiefs in it. Blue and red, green, all colored handkerchiefs, and then he had some little handkerchiefs for pockets, you know. He walked up to that showcase. My uncle was standing back there, and he walked up to that showcase and looking at those